This week we have learned about factors contributing to youth at risk. Children begin their life with their family, and that is where the provision of developmental growth in those early years are met through physical, emotional, and psychological needs. They need to have the food and all the necessities, the love, and the modeling of correct behaviors, which will prepare them for the classroom. These students will spend the majority of their day in the school, with teachers being the role models and peers continuing to help or hinder their development. The success they experience at school will directly correlate with how well they are going to do in life as an adult. If various needs have not been met within a student, then there is a probability that they will become involved in gangs. Gangs present that family atmosphere and a feeling of importance and significance, and so oftentimes they will gravitate toward a gang to have those needs met. The community in which a child grows up can also help or hinder that growth and development that is needed. Constructive adult and peer modeling need to be prevalent in their life, and it will help them to become more successful in school and adult life. Media and entertainment are also a huge influence on our children's lives. Typical 14-year-olds watch more than 3 hours of some form of television or screen time. The games and the movies exhibit a lot of violence and graphics that tend to glorify heroes who are violent. And these can contribute to the attitudes and behaviors of these students. Each of these media factors have the ability to desensitize students in their awareness and their emotional feeling toward violence and crime. Neglect and maltreatment during the first 9 months of life can impact a young person. It is also important as educators that we distinguish between the normal or natural phases during development to indicate the future trouble for that child. Poverty is a critical factor that contributes to our at-risk students. 20% of youth under the age of 18 live in poverty. Poverty will limit the educational, medical, and social service resources that are needed for these children. The research states that there is an overwhelming availability of guns and misuse of guns. Over 4 million guns are manufactured for civilian use annually in the United States. The guns and lack of education about guns within the home could contribute to behaviors that create problems in the community. Racism is an unequal treatment limiting resource and power. This limited power leads to alienation and feelings of victimization. The use and abuse of drugs is becoming more prevalent, beginning with youth ages 7, 8, 9, and 10. Heroin has become the biggest problem in communities today and amongst youth. Drugs have influenced behaviors and hindered the success of life for youth today. There are various disabilities that also contribute to youth at risk. Many students have learning disabilities, which can vary from cognitive, auditory, or visual processing disorders. Autism is also on the rise, creating a social hindrance for many students, as well as a need for very structured and rigid classroom settings. Emotional and behavior disorders can come in various ways, from violent behavior to not completing assignments, ignoring the teacher, internalizing behavior. There are various aspects, and teachers have to understand each individual disorder to be able to deal correctly with that particular student. The term mental retardation has come under scrutiny in the last few years, and many people prefer the term developmental disability. These students typically have a lower IQ and have difficulty in cognitive perceptions. Other students struggle with blindness and low vision, which leads to the need for help in the classroom or magnification of print materials. Special lenses and optical devices can also be used to help these students. Laws have been put into place through the IDEA Act, which protect all of these students and give them IEPs and 504 plans to formulate a correct system of accommodations and modifications within the classroom so that all students have the ability to learn in the environment that best meets their needs. With these systems in place, the hope is that these at-risk factors will be lowered and create success within our students as they become adults.